Hello, welcome to the weekly shir of the Zer Shimshon. This week is in here to Israel, it's Parshas Korach. So, if those who want to follow along in their Chutz Lords will continue to follow along for another couple of weeks till we get to Matos Masei, and then we'll catch up. But anyway, in the meantime, I'm going to do the Zer Shimshon. It's the first kapitel. It's very interesting. V'yikach Korach. And it's dear to my heart, as you'll come out to see. Okay, it's brought in Parshas Korach, right? It says Vayikach Korach. Korach took. What did he take? It's brought in the Midrash Tanchuma and the Pirush Rashi. Shekorach chilek al tzitzis al mezuzah, and also on mezuzah. Why dafka these two? The talis shel shar minim chut echad paitra. So a talis from all kinds of species, one chut exempts them. Zu shekula tchelis loy tiftares atzma. So if the chut of tchelis exempts you from wearing shatnez, right? So alachas kama b'kama if the whole garment is tchelis, right? Yechein mid mezuzah shtei parshes paitreis bias malisrayim like kolshkein. So if the two parshas of the mezuzah exempt you from fulfilling the mitzvah of mezuzah on your house, so a kolshkein if you have a house full of svarim, and in those days it meant all handwritten. Okay, so kasha the ha'ikar machlekes haya bishul kinase al nesius elitzafim ben Uziel. Holding 1 second. The whole disagreement that he had was that he had a jealousy because Elitzafon was, I think, his fourth cousin, was appointed to be the Nasi instead of him. And I'm going to read it to you. So what's the shaychus between Elitzafon being appointed and these two mitzvahs, Tchelis and mezuzah? So Rashi says here that Omer Korach said, I'm reading Rashi on this parsha, Achi Abba Arba Hayu. My father's brothers were 4. Shenemar v'bnei Kahas. So Amram was the Bechor, not like Shnei Banav Gedula. So both of Amram's sons took greatness, that is Moshe and Aaron. One was the king, that was Moshe, Echad Kain Gadol. Mi royal leitol es ashniya. Who would be fitting to take the second position? Loyani, not me. Of course, Korach thought it was him. He's a bigger chacham. He's got more wealth. Sha'ani ben Yitzchar shehu sheni le'Amram, because I'm the son of Yitzchar, who is the second in line to Amram. Vehu mana nisi es ben achi v'katon mikulam. So, and he appointed Elitzafan ben to be who is the youngest of them all. So now that's what he's jealous of. So what's the shaychus to Tchelis and mezuzah? So we'll see. Yesh the tarts tamhu lefi shekorach haya yoser chacham mimenu. He was wiser. He was more smart. It doesn't mean any time to get more smarts that you're smarter. Okay. Well, haya nami gadol shahaya ben Yitzchar shehu shnei am sheni the Amram elitzafan haya ben Uziel, which is a reveal of Amram. So we discussed this. He was the second to Amram, and Korach, and Elitzafan ben Uziel was the fourth to Amram. And the Sius zeh haya roi lekach. So this being that the prince should have been shaykh to Korach. Ela shamoy she'asa nasi Elitzafan b'tzivu HaKadosh Baruch Hu. But Moshe appointed Elitzafan according to the command of God, because Elitzafan was more preferable. For whatever reason, God saw in Elitzafan something greater than Korach. So why did Korach pick these two mitzvahs to be disagreeable? The fee. So according to the simple pshat in the pasuk, the Torah says that it's the reason we wear tzitzis is the man tizkor sein says Chavi Eretz Yisrael, right? So Kedei Lizkor Kol Mitzvahs Hashem, in order to remember all the Mitzvahs Hashem. And we know you can count the strings with the knots and to get all together, and the tzitzis itself is 600, and the strings and knots another 13, so 613 mitzvahs. So we should remember all the mitzvahs of Hashem. And what about mezuzah? Mezuzah is kedei lahagin aleinu, to protect us. That God's standing there protecting us, protecting our house. V'chein omer, it says Chazal she'omar HaKadosh Baruch Hu kasav shmi al pesechacha, write my name on your doorsteps. V'iyat misyorim and amazikim. You don't have to be worried about the damaging angels. V'harem is b'milas mezuzah is it's the letters in mezuzah itself is written mem zayin zayin vav saf. Zaz means move, and then they take the other letter left over. It spells mavis, which is death. Zaz mavis, move, death, move out. The Korach calls some of that a pasuk. It's relying on the mind yirbo yemechem v'meimenechem. It's relying on that pasuk that says you will live long. The Korach hashav shakadosh baruch hu amar Moshe shikchot cheles al bigdeim lepachais shchut echad. Okay, so Korach thought that God told Moshe to take tcheles on their garments, at least minimum one string of tcheles, but Kimosh Omer Kosa, but he said Hakanaf Psio, so it's one. So he said you should remember all the mitzvahs. The main thing is to remember all the mitzvahs. And we remember also the Gemara in the Yerushalmi says about the blue. So you see the blue from the Tchelis and you remember the Kisya Kavod. It takes you up to the seed, to the heavens, to the Kisya Kavod. Because Baruch Hu's Kisya Kavod looks like, lapis lazuli. Anyway, Lemela anu lemedim sheyia talis kula tchelis tiagama zechira yoser gedola. So look at, if you got more tchelis, you got more blue. If you got more blue, you'll remember better, supposedly, right? The e lav hachi loy hayod loy lechtay roisem, I say. It was a chartam. He said, if that wouldn't be the purpose, they wouldn't have written it in the Torah. So el acher hakanaf psil tchelis. If it wrote right after, Risa Moshe is a chartam, right after you have to put the psil tchelis. Shezeh hu davar haba afilu min ha'lavan levada kisha adam yilbash talis. So this is something that you can even get from remembering. You can get from the white part of the tzitzis. The hachim nami b'mezuzah loy haya loy lichtov laman yirbo yerecha. It wouldn't have had to write that you should live a long life. So that at least you should write 2 parshas of the mezuzah. Okay, minimum 2 parshas. Well, nam im yosef lichtov oid yoser. But let's say he wants to write more parshas, and the Sefer can charge you more money. Gesundheit. Harishus biyadai. That's what Korach's taina was. Tovay alav bracha. Tovay l'shmira yosemula. Right? You should get a bigger shmira for that. It's the opposite of what Moshe understood from the mitzvah, that by the talis you only need 1 chut. And the mezuzah, you only need 2 parshas. That's it. That where did Korach get this, fill his heart up to disagree with God? It's written in the Torah, not like that. Why did he dafka disagree with him on these 2 mitzvahs? He should have disagreed on the whole Torah. These 2 mitzvahs are not what we call complete mitzvahs. They're not just commands that they have no continuous basis. They are for the benefit of Klal Yisrael, right? Kadeshi Yiskuru HaMitzvahs, in order to remember all the mitzvahs, Kadeshi Yia Nishmarim, so that they should be watching them, guarding them. Mishum Hachi Matzah Makam Leimara, he found a place to say She'im Tia Shmira V'Azachira Yoisa Gedola Tvei Hadif. If he wants to remember better, have more, and break more blue and more parshas in the mezuzahs. V'vadei lo hevi Moshe kavanas HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And sure, Korach thought that he didn't understand what God meant. Be'elu hamitzvos atam b'tzvar asay. No, he thought Moshe was working on his own. The same deal that he thought he perhaps made a mistake by appointing the Nasi to be Elit Tzafron. So he thought perhaps that God was saying to Moshe, yeah, appoint somebody from his father's family, right? So he thought, according to Korach, thought that he should appoint the greatest one, the oldest one, and not the youngest one. But the truth is, even if the whole talis would be blue, right? With the techelis, God said, no, I only need one strand. Not the entire beged. Won't be surprised that even though Korach was greater than Elitzaphan in wisdom and in his years, right? He's older. So God did not want Korach to be the Nasi, just like he didn't want a garment to be completely tcheles and not to write 2 parshas of mezuzah. And I have an interesting segula, actually a confirmation of a segula, let's put it that way. So he says, he was talking about a younger man, and he was telling him to purchase the Sefer Zera Shimshon. And he said, I'm extremely close with the famous Mashgiach Rav Dan Segel. Everybody in Bnei Brak knows who is it. He began, not long ago, I called the Mashgiach to discuss a certain medical issue. And Rav Dan told me a story about a Rosh Yeshiva who gave a shir in the Zera Shimshon and strongly suggested that I too begin steady learning in the Sefer. Okay. I told the younger man where he could purchase the Sefer, and we ended the conversation with best wishes on both sides. Shortly after that conversation, I found myself davening Mariv at the Beis Yisrael Shul. Looking around the room, I noticed none other than Dan Segel, and realized that the Mashgiach had been part of my minyan. As soon as the davening was over, I approached Rav Dan and told him about the phone call I received from the younger man, asking him if he had indeed recommended that the caller learn the Sefer as a segula for all kinds of Yeshuas. So Rav Dan Segel replied, yes, he replied, I strongly recommend learning the Zera Shimshon. That's what he said. My friends, what can I say? I don't think you'll be able to find a better recommendation than that of Rav Dan Segel. So go learn Gesundheit and keep participating and spread the word that we have a rather simple and easy shir for everybody. Okay, Kol Tov, have a wonderful Shabbos, whatever parsha you're holding by. Kol Tov.